Hello folks, I'm here today at Paris Motor Show 2024. Just me on my lonesome, so I'm going to be filming this guerrilla style. I'm not going to do the unveils and things. Instead, I'm going to take you around the stands when they're quiet and show you as much as I possibly can. I hope you enjoy this one. Please give it a thumbs up, and massive thanks to Surfshark for helping me make this happen. Let's crack on. So let's start things off with Audi. We've got this massively impressive stand. This is the RS e-tron GT, which looks great in red. We've also got a pretty tasty looking sports car up the top there. And then let's go through, we've got the S6 e-tron. That's a great looking car. Let's take a look inside. It looks and feels great. One thing I would say though is that bottom door card's still not felt lined. Come on, Audi. They were doing that, I don't know how many years ago. They had felt lined door cards and door pockets, and they stopped about 10 years ago. And I mean, if they need to cut costs that much, they're in trouble, I guess, but I really don't think they are. It's a shame because it's an otherwise superb looking interior. What I'm showing you here, by the way, is the SQ6 e-tron. I'm sure that will be very, very popular. It's their sort of upper mid-size SUV. Electric, obviously. This one's the Q5. And then we've got the Q6 Sportback e-tron up here on a plinth. Come out so I can get you a good look at that. I'm not usually a fan of a coupe SUV at all, but I think that's got quite a striking look to it. Don't mind it. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I didn't get this earlier, but it's the A5 Avant. That's quite interesting. The A5 obviously being the coupe version of the A4. So maybe no more A4 Avant, but A5 Avant instead. There's a new upstart car company called Volkswagen. This is the ID. Buzz GTX. So this is the very, very spicy version of the supremely popular ID. Buzz. You can see it's slightly more aggressively styled. Got certainly some more menacing trim. And right next to it is the GTX version of the ID.3. It's not a Golf GTI, but it's about as close as you could get to one in electric form at the moment. I am, of course, going to show you the ID GTI concept in a minute. The GTX ID.3 starts from €49,000. That could obviously be quite different in the UK, but yeah, it certainly looks like quite a spicy little beast. ID GTI concept here, which this man's furiously polishing. That's very cool. If they'd have come out with this as the original design for the ID.3 and just called it a Golf, my word, they would have done well with it. So that's cool. It's got that sort of retro modern cool about it. Look at those wheels. I mean, they look absolutely awesome. Very, very cool. Here is the new VW California. This is getting a ton of interest. And as you can imagine, it's a very important vehicle for VW. So it's got a pop-up top on this one. So plug-in hybrid, €68,000 is the from price over here. What it will be at home, I don't know. Got pull-out awning, funky little table and chairs. Got some kind of kitchen stroke bar area in there. Let's have a look at the dash. Captain's chairs in the front, so you can swivel those around. And you've still got a plentiful boot, really. You've got water tank here as well. So Yeah, that could be a massively important vehicle for VW. And plenty of VW camper enthusiasts have been waiting for this. But wait no longer. Here it is. Here's the new 𝙇𝙄𝙉𝙆𝙎. I think important people in the press have been out test driving that somewhere exotic in the last week. I was at home. So there you go. Read what you will into that. It's the big 5 or 7 seat, I believe, SUV. Very nice interior. That certainly rivals the interior in the Audis we've just looked at, I would say. It's a definite step up from the older ID range. Weird saying that now, the older ID range. There's another 𝙇𝙉𝙉𝙆 there in blue. We've got the ID Buzz, of course. And then the rest of it, I think we know about. The new Tiguan, I had a very brief drive of that a while ago. You may have seen that video. And we've got the new Golf GTE, which is all rather lovely. That's the new 8.5 Golf. And then we've got the new ID.7 Tourer, but again, this is the GTX version. So this is the spicy version of the ID.7 Tourer. The ID.7 Tourer, I think, is probably one of the current cars in the VW range that I'm immediately drawn to. And the spicy version of it only draws it to me further. Now folks, when you're in an environment like this, you have to be thinking about the security of your data, your personal data. So I'm going to drop by the press room to give you a very important message. So I'm here in the press room at the moment, and you have to just consider how many of these people are all on the same public Wi-Fi network. The security risk there is absolutely immense. Very few of them are using their own private internet setup. So that's where a VPN comes in. And the one I use, and the one I've used for many years, is Surfshark.
Surfshark VPN's a powerful tool that encrypts your internet traffic and hides your IP address. That in turn can help protect you and your data from snoopers and hackers and just give you a bit more security online. Just think of all the people using public Wi-Fi where I am today. It's a hacker's dream. The VPN's a very cost-effective way of giving yourself an extra little comfort blanket. You can also access sites that are primarily for your region when you're traveling abroad, and of course you can protect yourself from price discrimination online. If you don't know what price discrimination is, it's where you look at an item several times on a particular website, they know you're coming back to it, and the price goes up. And you've probably read it here already, but you can install Surfshark VPN on unlimited devices. That means it could be on your laptop, your computer, your phone, even your TV. Now, Surfshark's Black Friday deal has just started. That means you can get all the benefits of Surfshark VPN from just $1.99 a month with 4 months free. It's a fantastic offer. Click the link in the video description to take you straight to Surfshark and look at all the great options available for you. Also check out Surfshark One, which is a whole suite of products that can help keep you and your data safe online. And please click that link, go and check it out. And thanks to Surfshark for making this trip to this amazing motor show possible.
There is a Skoda under wraps here. This is going to be the 𝙇𝙗𝙉𝙆𝙎. The 𝙇𝙗𝙉𝙆𝙎 has now been unveiled. There it is, in all its glory. So this will be a slightly smaller electric SUV from Skoda, or Skoda, if you're that way inclined. Good looking car. I think that would do very well in the UK, very well. What do you think? The new Kodiaq over here. Let's go and have a look at that. Kodiaq's a popular car in the UK. I wish they'd been a bit bolder with the styling, I have to say. The back end's quite nice, but the rest of it's a little bit forgettable. And of course we've got the Kamiq here, which I think is one of the best value for money cars on the market, really. And it's manages to be quite a big car whilst remaining small. And you may have think I've taken my crazy pills this morning, but it actually uses its space really, really efficiently. Here's some rally stuff, that's very cool. WRC car there. Got the 𝘼𝙁𝙁𝙆𝙎, that's still a good looking car. That paint's absolutely mad as a box of wild frogs. Have a look at it. Wow. Again, nice interior in that one. That 𝘼𝙁𝙁𝙁𝙁 does look cool. They've done it in a few VW Group cars and I always like it. The light up grille, the jury's still out on that one for me, but I don't hate it. The new Superb and the Octavia Estate. They're both fantastic cars. I think in fairly recent times, Skoda has produced some of the best cars in the VW Group, quietly, I would say. Right, we're at the Mini stand now. Got the Mini Cooper S there. I've got that in for review in a couple of weeks. We've got the Mini Countryman. Over here's the Aceman. I'm going to have a drive in that in a couple of weeks' time, I believe. And the John Cooper Works cars have now been unveiled. So this is the electric Mini Cooper John Cooper Works. Very, very cool. Pretty swish looking wheels on that one. Wrapped in Hankook tyres. And let's look at the rear end. As you know, I really love the new Mini Cooper, and this John Cooper Works version does not disappoint. There's a copious amounts of polishing going on here, unfortunately. But it's just the way it is at these things. My good chum 𝘼𝙁𝙁𝙁𝙁 likes me to talk about a bun fight whenever I'm at a car show. And indeed, it is a bun fight. There's the Aceman John Cooper Works. I didn't actually know they were doing a John Cooper Works version of that. The Aceman's the only one in the lineup, I believe, that's going to be electric only. So that's quite interesting. And here's the standard version of the Aceman. It shares that new Mini interior. So you've got the big round OLED screen. I think the world's first round OLED screen is in the Mini. And that interior is carried right across the range now, and I think it's a real winner. I love it. I really like the choice of materials they've used, the overall design, and of course the usability of it's pretty decent as well. So there is the Aceman. As I said, that one's electric only, the only one in the Mini range that is electric only. I think it's a really interesting time for Mini. I think they've had some great cars out recently, and it looks like more to come. If they could get the price in a bit sharper, that's the only thing. They're producing great cars, but my word, are they expensive. The Mini is now very, very much a premium brand. Make no bones about it. So here we've got Leapmotor. It's a brand we're going to be hearing a lot more about. They're going to do an unveil there. They've got all the cameras and teleprompters set up. But this is the one everyone's talking about at the moment. This little baby car over here, which I think is going to be about 20 grand in the UK. Under the bonnet there you've got all the electrical gubbins. It's a little bit of a throwback car, so I suppose really they're going after those customers that want really small city cars. Things like the Hyundai Insta will be competition for this. Things like maybe even the Dacia Spring. Although I don't think this will be anywhere near as compromised as the Spring. And let's just have a look at the interior. Okay. I would say less basic than I would expect. Just coming back to Leapmotor here, here's the B10 and the C10, which I think were the unveils that they did this morning. The C10 being the larger SUV, really difficult to get any footage of this, and the B10 being slightly smaller. I don't know a great deal about those, and everything here is in French, but they don't excite me. Alfa now, Alfa Romeo Junior. We've got the Tonale here. It's a great looking car. There've been some brilliant lease deals on these, which those of you that watch my lease deals of the month videos will know all about. But that is a stunning looking car, and it's not that big. You know, people sometimes worry about the size of an SUV and oh, I think it's too big for me, etc. This one's not. Look at the flappy paddles. They're the best flappy paddles in the business on an Alfa, and they've got such a satisfying click. They're straight out of F1, and I love them. There you go, very striking car. Keep watching the lease deals videos for those, because there are often some stunning deals around. Oh my word. Right, that is absolutely gorgeous. Look at the paint on that. I could take my clothes off and bathe in that, but I'd probably be arrested. That is absolutely beautiful. You've got obviously the quadrifoglio leaf. And it's got a lovely arse, hasn't it? Let's be fair. Slightly understated door. I mean, that's going to make quite a statement when you get in Tesco's car park, isn't it? And look at that for an interior. Oh my word. Gorgeous. So I've still got 10 minutes before anything happens at BMW, and you can see the crowd here. Peugeot now. Not usually the most exciting of stands for me personally. So I'm not a Peugeot super fan. There's the 𝑒3008. I know they've undoubtedly got some good cars at the moment, and I think from a design point of view, probably the best position Peugeot have been in for a long, long time. But nothing's particularly exciting, and that's a shame. That's quite exciting. All right, the Citroen stand, as you might imagine at the Paris Motor Show, sort of taking pride of place here. Looks quite interesting. There's lots of stuff under wraps at the moment, so I'll be back here later. But we've got the EC3, which is going to be the little budget mini SUV. It's quite a tall chap in there at the moment, and he looks a little bit cramped, but he's managed to fold himself in without too many issues. Not a bad looking little thing. Then we've got the C3 Aircross Hybrid. Again, Citroen have really changed the design language up, and I think it's for the better. The French are making cool, quirky cars again. And French should make cool, quirky cars. It's very important for them to make cool, quirky cars. Here's the new Citroen Ami, folks. They've given that some slightly funkier styling. Super cool little things, aren't they? As incredibly compromised as they are. They've also got a whole YouTube section here. I don't really know what that's about. Meanwhile, over at Citroen, the new EC4 has been unveiled, which we've got here. Not a massive departure from the previous version. Bit of a facelift. But the real news over here is the C5 Aircross Concept, and you can see that is very bold, because that's a very brave piece of design. And again, the French should be doing these quirky, interesting, super bold looking cars, and they've sort of gone away from it for so long. Right, here's a challenge for the comments. Tell me what this car is. Answers on a postcard or in the comments of the video. There you go, I'm even showing you the back of it. What a gentleman. There's an attractive, famous person, 𝘼𝙁𝙁𝙄𝙇𝙄𝑗 over there. So this is the stand everyone's going to be talking about at this show, because they've got some very special stuff coming later. So we've got the Renault 5. Obviously there's been quite a lot about this now, so you're probably all quite familiar with it. I must admit, I really don't like this green. I think it looks great in yellow and white, but the green's not for me. There's the interior for you. As you can see, it is very cramped in the back. That's one thing. I've watched a couple of the first drive videos from the international launch because I didn't get invited on that. And it does look very cramped for rear passengers, but the boot's a decent size. And I guess most people that are driving this around, it's going to be a two-person car most of the time, or a one-person car. And I'm sure it does that fairly well. But you can see the front seats are really far forward there. And there's really not much legroom in the back, even with them that far forward. But they are going to sell millions of those cars. Millions. Ford, take note. Fiesta. VW, take note. Polo. These are cars that there's a real need for and a want for and a desire for. Retro, modern, familiar names. Okay, so I've popped back over to Renault. There's the Roland Garros version of the Renault 5. That looks very cool. And then over here we've got the new Twingo EV. That looks amazing, I think. I really love what they've done with that. Again, they've done the retro modern thing just perfectly. Feels like they've hit the nail on the head. You've got the new Renault 4 over there. And then we've got a special version of the Renault 4 a bit further along. Very cool. See what we're up against here to get footage of the Renault 4 that's halfway decent. Here's the interior. And similar to the 5 in terms of its overall styling. A bit more legroom in the back of this one, so that will serve it well, because the 5, as we established earlier, is slightly lacking in terms of its interior space, but here goes, a bit more detail. Quite a sharp looking little thing. I've no doubt that's going to do extremely well. Sorry the footage is not better, folks, it's just very tough at these things to get anywhere near clear shots. We've got another very, very bold concept from Renault here, a little delivery van, and it looks bonkers. A great thing. So there's your parcel area in there, and then touch of a button and it opens up. Got these crazy speakers in the front. And there's your cargo compartment, and you can see how it's possible to walk through. Delivery person back in however many seconds. Massively exciting and interesting stuff here. Absolutely bonkers. Look at the mirrors. Instead of a van having huge protruding mirrors, you've now got a camera up there. There's a really handsome bloke, but not in an obvious way, standing there. There it is. Crazy, huh? Folks, if you're enjoying the video so far, please just give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you. So here's what we were waiting for from BMW. It's the Neue Classe X. So you can expect future X3, X5 to have a lot of design cues from this. And that's extremely striking. Look at those wheels. Oh, and super cool looking interior. And there it is next to the other one, which we can expect things like the new 3 Series, the new 5 Series to be taking its cues from. These are concept cars, remember, but as it says on a piece of the trim there, the future is bright. I have to say, for BMW, if they're producing final cars that look anything like this, because I'm sure there'll be their detractors, but they look bold and brave and different. And again, as we've seen here today so far, there aren't hundreds of brands doing bold and brave and different at the moment. And I say different, but it's still a BMW. I think if I showed you that shot and asked you what that car is, you'd probably say BMW. Same with that. I don't know, very clever design in my opinion. Love it. Here is Uno Car Party. I think this is because you can now get games in your VW infotainment systems. The i5M over there, that's a great looking vehicle. Really is a nice looking car. And then you've got the new X3, which we've already seen. Right, lots of new stuff over at Kia. So we've got the new EV3. I did show you, I think, the concept of that at the LA show last year, if you watched any of that footage, which I think about 12 of you did. I'm going to that again next month. And it's all going to be on my channel this time, and it's all going to be out very quickly, and I think you'll like what I have in store. So if you're not subscribed to my channel yet, please do if you like this kind of stuff. Got the new PV5 concept from Kia. So this is their passenger vehicle. I see it's basically a van-based minibus. Looks super futuristic. Very cool. I've got a lot of time for that. And look at the steering wheel. So that's perhaps a nod to the fact that this could be fully autonomous, and you can literally put the steering wheel out of sight. EV6 over here. It's the new EV6. It has had a little bit of a midlife refresh. The Sportage hybrid. Then we've got the new Picanto. That's a good looking little car, the new Picanto. New Sorento over here. And of course, their big monster, the EV9, which I've already reviewed on my channel. So go and check that out if the EV9 floats your boat. It's a brilliant thing. It's just huge. Right, I'm back at Kia. Now things have sort of opened up properly. And you can see there's actually messages up on the front of this thing. It's bananas. It's got a screen at the front. This is a concept, remember. You've got a really clear view inside. And look at that for accessibility. I mean, that is absolutely market leading. This one is obviously being shown as a taxi. You've got the sort of plastic in between passengers and driver. Got some cargo space next to the driver. Of course, you could get another seat in there. And look. It's got screens on the back of it as well. Absolutely bananas. So what do we think of the looks of this, folks? These are crazy times that we're living in. Years ago, this would have been something from a science fiction film. And probably for the first time ever, things from science fiction movies seem to be coming into reality. I've got no doubt when a production version of this vehicle comes out, it will be a lot tamer than this. But this certainly speaks to where they're going from a design point of view, and that's somewhere very bold, where no man has gone before. 𝙇𝙄𝙉𝙆𝙎 over here, that's a brand we don't get to see on our side of the water. Very cool little van. And then we've got like a cargo scooter, or trike actually, cargo push bike. Look at this for a little city car. I mean, I could pick that up and put it in my pocket. It's the JS50. So that would be a rival over here, I guess, for things like the Dacia Spring. Just a really micro city car. That is properly teeny weeny. Let's have a look inside. Actually looks quite cool interior. I was expecting kind of a melted ice cream tub when I looked in there, not a bit of faux carbon fibre. So that's very cool. These will do amazingly well in Paris. There's the Alpine A110R. The A110 obviously has been a really important car for Alpine. And by all accounts, is amazing fun to drive. And cars like that now, they don't have too many rivals. Gone are the days of every brand having a decent two-seat sports car to tempt in the enthusiasts with, particularly at a somewhat reasonable price. Here's the A390B, which is a new electric, I don't know, mid-size SUV, coupe concept kind of thing. I don't know, not what I want to see from Alpine, but it's okay. And then here, of course, is the A290, which is their version of the Renault 5. That's a very good looking car. Obviously the Renault 5 is a great looking car, but the Alpine just looks that bit more aggressive, that bit spicier, and a bit more grrr. There's another one over here in blue. That's the GTS version. That all looks a bit aggro, doesn't it? And then pretty amazing hypercar. Here's a brand that a lot of people get very excited about, don't they? More than me, if I'm being fair. It's Dacia, and this is the Dacia Spring. I just don't get it personally, but there it is. Dacia Duster, new version of Duster. They've really improved the styling on those a lot. The Sandero Stepway, sorry. And of course we've got the Jogger, or perhaps the Jogger if you're from certain parts of Europe. And there is the Bigster. I know, it looks quite decent, the Bigster. What a terrible name for a car though. I'm guessing it possibly translates better in other markets, but Bigster, come on. And there's one in grey. A decent sized boot. The interior is fairly typical of a new Dacia. Right, Chris Atkins, this bit is for you, old chum. We've got the Xpeng stand. Chris likes an Xpeng. So let's have a little look inside here. Very Tesla-esque interior. This one's the G6, by the way. Loads of legroom. Another G6 here. The G6 being their Model Y, I guess. Let's try and get somewhat decent view of the thing. Not the easiest, but here we go. So Xpeng are doing very well in Europe by all accounts, but we're yet to see them in the UK. Chinese challenger brand, I guess. And they've just unveiled this one, which is the P7 Plus.
It is. That's why I thought this is something.
There it is. I'm not in love with the back end of this, that's for sure. Front end looks very cool. There we go, that's the Xpeng P7 Plus. This is the Xpeng G9, by the way. As you would imagine, it's a bigger version of the G6. It's very full of people, so I'm not going to go into it. There you go. You've got sort of a double iPad kind of setup on the dash there, and a little instrument binnacle. We've got another G9 over here. I don't know if you can see the interior a bit better in this one, possibly. There's also an absolutely bananas drone, which I guess is some sort of concept passenger vehicle drone from Xpeng. Crikey, there's the front of the G9 in all its glory. I would try and give you a little bit more detail on a lot of these cars, folks, but it's all in French here and I don't speak French. Check this out for a racing sim area. Wow. This looks like bags of fun. Here at the Mobilize stand now, which are these very funky little cars. It's kind of a Twingo, not a Twingo, what was it called? Twizy. That's what I'm thinking of. Very similar to the old Twizy. So you've got driver and then passenger behind. This is a little cargo version, so just one seat in there, I assume, yep. And then somewhere to put some cargo in the back. Maybe good for local deliveries. Again, these little tiny cars, I always think, great marketing cars. If you've got the right kind of business, using that for your marketing could be brilliant. Think of people like estate agents, where they're all jumping into a car, driving 2 miles up the road, showing someone around a property. If this is all liveried up with your business on the side, you know, that could be great. People are going to stop and look at that. You could even use that as a little mobile coffee shop, couldn't you? Very cool. Stats on this, by the way, 149 kilometres of range, 80 kilometres an hour top speed. It's got climate control, keyless, airbag. Over at Cadillac, this is the Lyric. I have sat in one of these in LA. Very cool thing. Some suggestion that this could be coming to the UK. That's a lovely interior. The build quality feels good. Certainly quite interesting on the inside. Loads of legroom in the back. Absolutely reeks of garlic. I'm not being in any way regionalist with that comment. The car just reeks of garlic. That's the 600E4. And then over here we've got the 𝘼𝙁𝙁𝙄𝙇𝙄𝑼𝙏. So the 𝘼𝙁 is one of their big SUVs, but the 𝘼𝙁 is a special edition. As you can see, it's got big, rugged tyres and wheels, roof rack on it. It looks pretty cool. Here is the standard version of the 𝘼𝙁. Another mid-size SUV. Not many of those at the show today. Good looking interior. And then we've got another Lyric here. Let's get the front end of the Lyric so you can get a better look at it. There we go. Right, Tesla over here. And don't know if you've seen this before. It's the Cybertruck. Look at the wheels on that. They're about the same size as the office that I make most of my videos from. There's the bed liner cover coming down. That's all automated, of course. You have got mains power sockets in the back there as well. But look at the corners on it. I mean, you wouldn't want to get hit by that. You could probably grate some cheese on those corners. I do love it. It is completely and utterly bonkers. And I think Tesla need to be commended for putting something so ridiculous out on the road, because as we've seen here, there are one or two brands that are just putting out cookie cutter cars. So then we've got the more familiar Tesla Model S. We've got the Model 3 Performance. Yep, it is the Performance. Obviously in these, we no longer have stalks, as you would have seen if you watched my review video. But you've got indicators on buttons, a few important functions on buttons. and then some other things you do via the screen. Actually, you get used to it. I don't see the point. I'd rather just have the levers, but you do get used to it very quickly. It's a bit odd on roundabouts in the UK, but they don't have too many of those in the US, do they? The Model X, which we can no longer get in Blighty, not in right-hand drive form anyway, it's in 6-seat mode. You do actually have like a traditional instrument binnacle in the Model X. I'm surprised they stopped making it actually for the UK market, because I'm sure it did reasonably well, and I'm sure it still would. And then of course the Model Y. I'm not going to have a look around that because I've got one at home. Right, here's a 𝙁𝙁𝙁𝙁𝙁𝙁 over here. That's a tiny little city car. I guess that would be the equivalent of a Boris bike kind of idea, so I can't imagine anyone's going to buy one particularly. And then here's a kilo. I don't know, these are mad. Oh, I love this. Kind of mini moke vibes, but super cool. From 12,790 euros for this one, from 9,900 euros for this one. I'd imagine the range is not too far. Yeah, 70 kilometers to 135 kilometers. And this one's 135 kilometers. Maximum speed of 80 in this one. That's kilometers, not mph. And 45 kilometers an hour is the top speed in that one. And we've got the Microlino cars. Had a look at these at Geneva. Very cool little bubble cars. You get in via the front. Steering wheel and everything's attached to that. And then we've got Moke down here. I just said mini Moke vibes. Well, Moke is back. There's a little 4-seat bad boy. Probably not one to be driving around on the streets of, I don't know, Scunthorpe or Hull, because the British climate is probably not that well suited to something like this, but you can imagine that bombing around the streets of Bermuda, can't you? And then look at this, whoa, Cherokee Chief. It looks like someone's electrified an absolute beast of an old classic Jeep Cherokee. Oh, it's hydrogen actually, look, you've got hydrogen cells there. That's really cool. Bag it up, I'll take it. So this looks like an overspill from Renault here. And this is a little caravan accessory for your Renault 4. That's really cool. I'm guessing that's a Renault 4 under there, but obviously it hasn't been unveiled yet. Then look at this. This is a crazy, it's called a Sea Rider R4 Sea Cruiser electric water scooter. And then you've got a Renault Spirit Scrambler, which is an electric little off-road bike. That's very cool. I'd kill myself if I ever got on a bike, because I've got no balance, but what a cool thing. GAC over here, they're prepping for some kind of presentation, so access is very limited at the moment, but you've got a fairly forgettable looking SUV over there, a very cool looking sports car in the background, and a big monster of an SUV over here. Okay, so here is BYD. Here's the Sealion. So that's going to be a plug-in hybrid and I think an all-electric. Here we've got the Yang U8, obviously a rival for things like the Land Rover Defender, the Range Rover Vogue. Huge, monstrous SUV. If you put a pair of sawn-offs in the back of that, it'd be great for a bank job. That can obviously turn on its own axis as well. I'm sure you've all seen the videos of that. There's the Seal. It is a brilliant car. And if you're in the market for something like a Tesla Model 3, maybe an ID.7, Polestar 2, any of those kind of things, you must have a look at the Seal. It's a very, very good car. So the Seal 7 is under here, and this might be all you see of it in this video, to be honest. That's simply because I've done quite a lot of the show now, and I want to get this video out to you as quickly as possible. And I don't have a team of editors or anything that I can send it off to. Here's that amazing Renault Espace F1 that I saw at Geneva, if you watched that video. That's a very cool thing. And lots of classic loveliness over here. Here's a brand that's new on me, 𝘼𝙁𝙁𝙁𝙁 or 𝘼𝙁𝙁𝙁𝙁. I dare say that's one that's not come into the UK, so I've heard absolutely nothing about it. Another Chinese challenger brand, I guess. And there is something a cross between a Porsche Taycan back end or a Macan back end and maybe a bit of a Tesla front end. These Chinese brands have to be careful because they're just starting to look so similar, some of them. Here's an example of that. This is the 𝘼𝙁𝙁𝙁𝙁𝙁𝙁. I've got no idea how you pronounce that. But this is like, I don't know, somebody put a Rolls Royce in a blender. I think that's an absolute monstrosity, personally. What do you think? Sorry, son they're saying that in front of all this stuff. I'm sure they're all lovely people, but my God, that car's ugly. And there's some of their other bits. Can't really get around there at the moment because they appear to be filming. There's an interior of this one. There you go. Nice and informative, this, isn't it? There's this one. And here's a chassis. I always like seeing electric vehicle chassis because it's just a reminder of how few moving parts there are. And therefore is relatively little or less that can go wrong. So you've got the suspension set up completely independent on this, as you can see. You've got the battery pack in the middle, and more EVs now, the battery pack is actually used as a structural part of the chassis. So instead of having double the weight, why not use this huge construction as structure? Got the cells there, the battery pack's there. Very cool. Here's another new brand that I know nothing about. THK. It says this is Japanese innovation. You can see there, this is a car to be driven in, perhaps, rather than to be driven. But the back seat turns into like a business class lounge. The dash looks absolutely insane. It's fully panoramic. Goes the infotainment system or screen goes the entire length of the dash. We've also got screens built into the rear seats because, as I said, it's a car to be driven in rather than to be driven, possibly. It's the LSR05 from THK. Very interesting. Know absolutely nothing about this brand, but I immediately want to know more, and that's what a car show is all about. Obviously very, very luxurious. Here's the Skyworth Y. This is another big executive car. Again with suicide doors. That looks like a concept. I'm guessing it is still at concept stage. Let's go and take a look. Again, a car to be driven in rather than to drive, perhaps. But again, you've got like a business class lounge in the back, complete with some flowers and a very futuristic looking interior. Now over here we've got, I think it's the K. This is their sort of mid-size SUV. It's a completely forgettable looking car. I think we've just seen enough cars that look like this. So I'm guessing that's probably the one that's most likely to appear in the UK. It's the one I'm certainly least interested in. Also got a couple of unveils coming. One certainly a van, or more likely a big luxury people mover, I'd imagine, from this brand. So interesting. Now this is a bit of me here, pop culture, movie car central. A lot of stuff from French movies here, obviously, Taxi 2, Jurassic Park, little Jeep JP10, Ford Explorer XLT, also from Jurassic Park 1993. Oh, look at this, Magnum's Ferrari 308 GTS. What an iconic car. I grew up with a desperate need for that car and the mustache, because it was quite a beauty. Oh wow, I'm just drawn to this. This was Robocop's car. Again, a movie that was very popular with me as a young man. Look over here, try not to get in this man's face. This is from Transformers, one of the Bumblebees. I've also checked out those at the Peterson Museum in LA, and that is a police car from Transformers which turns into one of the bad guys, I think. Hill Valley Police, Back to the Future 2. Very cool. And of course, DeLorean. And Back to the Future, I dare say that's a reproduction. Not one of the actual movie cars, but I'm not entirely sure. This is definitely a reproduction. It's a Batmobile. I'm guessing a lot of these are, to be fair, folks. Kit from Knight Rider, General Lee from Dukes of Hazzard, and of course Starsky and Hutch's Ford Gran Torino. BMW Z3 from GoldenEye. Aston Martin DBS from Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace, apparently. Ferrari Testarossa from Miami Vice. Wow, look at Don Johnson there. What an absolute legend. Daytona Spider from Miami Vice. Chevrolet Chevelle Malibu. Oh, from Drive. I think it's called The Driver over here, wasn't it? Or in England. I can't remember. John Wick 2, Mustang Mach 1. And this is obviously Fast and the Furious territory over here. And a Toyota Supra from Fast and the Furious from 2001. I think some of these are definitely originals, but some are no doubt reproductions, but pretty cool nonetheless. And then of course, exit through the gift shop. So to sum up, I think we've seen some brilliant stuff today. Certainly some really exciting stuff from Renault. That people carrier from Kia looks bananas. Obviously some of that stuff is concept only at the moment, but you have to think if that's the way things are going, then it's very interesting and exciting times. Despite the fact this being way bigger and more impressive than the Geneva show, I have to say it's a bit sad not to see brands like Toyota, Lexus, Honda, Mercedes, and one or two others here. But in general, it's been very well supported, very well put together. And if you are thinking about maybe coming and visiting the Paris Motor Show one day, I would heartily recommend it. And that, folks, brings my day at the 2024 Paris Motor Show to a close. I'm now going to go back to my hotel and try and get this footage edited as quickly as possible. So I'm hoping to get this video out today, the day I'm actually recording it. Let's see if that happens, and let's see how good the hotel Wi-Fi is. But fingers crossed, you'll be getting this very soon. Please give this video a thumbs up. Please share it as far and wide as you can. These things cost a fortune to put together, so thanks very much to Surfshark for helping support this one. And also, thanks Scott. But please do whatever you can to give this some love. A thumbs up costs you nothing, it helps me out. A subscription helps me out immensely. So please show it some support, and thanks for watching. See you soon.
Huge thanks to all my channel members for your continued support. I really do appreciate it.